Ah. First, I want to say if I sound a little congested, is I'm getting over, I don't know what the fuck it is, a flu, cold. I'm feeling a lot better, but I might still sound funny, and I might even look funny. Well, funnier than usual. So anyway, I heard through the grapevine not that long ago. There were rumors and rumors about a fucking Clayface movie. And I said to myself, well, this gotta be bullshit. This has to be some goofy, pedestrian, idiot moron fans who are grasping at straws. You know. But apparently it's true. Apparently, it's in the works. A Clayface fucking movie without Batman. Now, this is the perfect example of what's wrong with DC, aka WB. They see what Marvel does, what Sony does, and they try to do their own slant on it. Because obviously, they see how successful the Venom solo movies are. Exactly. Thank you, Wabukaki. And nice seeing you again. That's exactly what I was going to say. They see what Marvel has done, what Sony has done, and they try to regurgitate it with the DC. The vast vault of great DC heroes and villains and epic storylines, and yet this is the type of crap that WB, aka DC Comics, does. They're always watching what Marvel does, what Sony does, and give us their version of it. And if it wasn't for the recent successes of movies like The Substance, whatever the hell it was called, and Venom, as Wabukaki said, they wouldn't even bother. And why? You're probably asking you why, with all the great characters, with all the great stories in their possession, many of which written by great authors, comic book artists and writers, who they screw. Because DCWB is notorious for screwing the people that work for it. All the poor people who inspired what ultimately became Batman 89, whose characters were ripped off from the comics that they were in, but the names were changed so that they didn't have to pay its creators or writers, in case you didn't know. The way they fucking screwed Alan Moore in the butthole by making that fucking horrendous, disgusting, pathetic, what is the word? Blasphemy. Zack Snyder's Watchmen. That's what I call it. Snidesman. Because that's not Watchmen. That's Snidesman. This is what WB does on a continuous basis. All they see is money. Thank you, Game Evil Knight. That's absolutely true. And there's another part of it, though. There's something else. The bastards involved in these DC cinematic films are not fans of the comics. These are not comic book people. I'll even say that they probably don't even understand why comic books and comic book movies are successful, why people like them. Just look at the fucking cast of this upcoming Clayface movie. Now, does Clayface, let's look at the cast. Let's just look at the fucking cast. I had it open here. Looks like I closed it. Clayface movie. Tom Rise carries. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Naomi Aki. You know why she's in the movie. Max Minghella. Eddie Marson. Who are these people? A cast of unknowns. But why? You're asking yourself. Why? Well, Venom was successful. But what else was successful? A little old television show on HBO called The Penguin. To show you what kind of a hack, what kind of a fucking hack this loser, this scumbag, this weirdo Jesuit James Gunn is. He's a jobber. Whatever the big wigs tell him to do, he does. Acting as if he's here to save the DC cinematic universe. Do you people realize he was and probably still is a butt buddy of Zack Snyder? I'm beginning to think this whole feud going on between them is bullshit. He gives me the creeps too, Game Evil Knight. He gives me the creeps. Just look at him. Just look at him. Google James Gunn. Look at his picture. For those of you joining me a little later, I'm getting over a cold, so please forgive me for the coughing, for the congestion sounding voice. But I had to say something about this because this is more proof in the pudding that DC doesn't know what it's doing. WB doesn't know what it's doing. If the acquisition by Netflix happens, which I pray it does, the first thing that has to happen, you gotta remove James Gunn. You gotta remove all these producers and executive producers involved in these atrocious films. The man single-handedly ruined Superman. I've spoken to people who were fans of Superman, who grew up with Superman 78, who thought that they were going to go see a remake of that movie. They went to the theater and they were shocked. And these are not necessarily comic book movie people. These are just people, the regular folk who knew what the character of Superman was, liked what they seen in the trailers, thought that Superman was going to get back to the grassroots of entertaining its audience, and they came back out disappointed, in shock even, of the mess of a movie that they witnessed. Because you have to go out of your way to make a mess of a Superman movie. Superman is simple. That's why to this day, regardless of what you feel, Smallville is the second best interpretation of the character of Superman ever made. Of course, after Superman 78 and Superman 2, the original cut. Sorry, those of you fans of the Donner cut. The Donner cut was a little, too late. And quite frankly, the only reason for its existence was so that Superman Returns made more sense. It is with the Donner cut that you can have a Superman that gets Lois Lane pregnant and have an alien hybrid human baby, in case you didn't know. The new Superman looks like a fuckboy. I wonder why. Maybe it goes back to what you said earlier, Evil Knight, about Mr. Gunn. I'm just saying, we all know these directors have their little, we all know that what's his face who directed Superman Returns, we all know his reputation now, don't we? Have you forgotten about the director of Superman Returns? And this coming from a jackass by the name of James Gunn, who actually dares criticize and put down and talk shit about Batman 89. Well, Mr. Gunn, Jesuit Gunn, hopefully intelligent people at Netflix, once they acquired officially WB, kick your ass as soon as they can out of the door. Kick your ass out. Kick all the producers that are stuck in there. I mean, some of them, all you have to do is just look at them. Google some of these producers and these executive people involved in these upcoming DC projects and just fucking look at them. You know they're not the appropriate people to handle this material. You know they're not. And shocking as it seems, I've said it before and I'll say it again, at this point, I'd rather see Zack Snyder come back. But I also have another idea. Now that the Duffer brothers, I think that's what they're called, are done with Stranger Things, maybe they can come on board and put this DC cinematic universe back on track. Or better yet, maybe Tim Burton, who's been associating with Netflix with the Wednesday show, can help maybe be a producer or an executive producer and put it back on track, because we have such a great, epic, fucking group of characters. In the DC, I got so many comic books of DC comics from the past and in the modern times. Great stories. They even get the video games right. Why can things be? Why is it they can produce a show like Smallville and get it right? They can produce Batman the animated series and get it right. Even the Superman animated cartoon was great. But when it comes to the recent films, they always fail to capture the spirit and the heart of these heroes. You know what I say? Fuck it. I'm going to say something very controversial now. If for whatever reason Netflix does not acquire WB, then I hope and pray that Marvel, through its connection with Disney, buys it. That's right. That's the point. That's the point where I'm at. I'd rather see the people who gave us the Marvel movies acquire the DC characters. Anybody right now is better than James fucking Gunn. This guy's a pariah. This guy's a scumbag. He's single-handedly, and maybe that was his plan. Maybe James Gunn is ruining, having trouble because of my cold. Maybe James Gunn is ruining it on purpose so that his butt buddy Zack Snyder comes back in. I don't know what to believe anymore. But this is one of the worst ideas ever. I wasn't for the Venom movies either, but I at least could understand the motivation behind it. Sony gave Spidey, they lent Spidey to Marvel, but they wanted to continue having something in the vein of Spider-Man. So they took the anti-hero Venom and made 3 pictures of that. Do I agree that should have happened? A Venom movie without Spider-Man? No, of course not. And I definitely don't agree with making a Clayface film without Batman. Oh, and I love it, Game Evil Night, how they're saying it's going to be horror. This is a horror this is a horror film based in the Batman universe. Horror. Fucking idiots. Hey, if that's the case, you have a character who's perfect, and they did it. Another example, and they did it with Joker. There were some horrific scenes in the original Joker film. Well, that's more or less all I have to say. This is a horrible idea. James Gunn sucks. If anybody here in the chat have any questions for me, I'll take some questions and try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yep. They canceled Reeves' Arkham Asylum project. Reeves' Arkham Asylum project? Oh, yes. Matt Reeves. Yeah. That's another thing. Thank you for reminding me. Why? Whose universe does this fall into? This Clayface movie? Is it the Batman universe? The fucking James Gunn piece of shit universe? The Tim Burton Batman universe? You see how stupid this is? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? This is stupid. Oh, did you give your take on Supergirl? Well, it's obvious what happened. My take on Supergirl is pretty much, could it be an entertaining film? Yes, especially since Gunn ain't directing it. But basically, all of y'all who enjoyed the interpretation of Supergirl in that Superman movie, a party girl, drunk and shit, they'll give you more of the same in the movie, and a bunch of you will flock to go see it. The only thing I can say, at least they got Supergirl right as far as her look. I'm not a fan of the Colombian Supergirl that they gave us in the Flash movie. That was awful. So that's all I can say. At least they got the look of Supergirl down a little, you know. Evil Knight says Nolan caused all of this. Everything after him has all been about how violent and dark they can make it, of course. And boring. One of the things about Christopher Nolan, he isn't the worst director in the world, but he is quite ponderous and boring. And yes, you're right, Evil Knight. Forced toilet humor. Because that's the type of audience we got today. A bunch of scumbags. Did you ever stop and look around? Those of you that still go to the movie theaters. I don't. I've stopped. I haven't given 1 cent to the movie theaters since, trying to think, when's the last movie I've ever watched in the theaters? It was a long time ago. I think it was The Dark Knight. If I'm correct, The Dark Knight was the last movie I watched in theaters back in 2008. Had a miserable time with the type of scumbag motherfuckers that you have to sit next to. Big, fat, obese degenerates who take off their fucking shoes so you have to smell their feet. Motherfuckers coming, teenage bastards who had, with their fucking children, They can't take care of them, can't pay for a babysitter, so they bring their fucking babies with them to the theater. And then, of course, you know who else goes there? There's always that group that likes to talk to the movie screen. And if you're not careful, they might pull out a gun and shoot at the screen because they disagree with something. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And then, of course, like you said, Evil Night, they make the theater going experience too. You don't want to make it comfortable. You cannot make the theater experience that comfortable. Because the minute you make it comfortable, people behave in the theater in public like they would at home. Farting, burping, snoring, sleeping, making out with each other, getting up every 5 minutes to use the toilet. Rude scumbag types. People like James Gunn. Have you, not to mention the food prices, yes, you're right, all the snacks. But have you gone to the movie theaters recently? I haven't. I can only imagine the freaks and the mutants that are walking around today going to the movies with their purple hair, their loud mouths, big, fat, obese monstrosities that you don't know. You can't tell if they're male and female. You can't tell if they're male or female. I'm so glad I retired from the movie theater experience. I'm so glad. Gunn, I'm calling it. He's been protected and there's some scandal with him that will come out. Well, you might be right. All I know is the guy's a prick, a goofy looking prick. He doesn't shut the fuck up, doesn't know when to shut the fuck up is my most biggest problem with the guy. I follow the old saying, if you have nothing to say nice about it, about someone or something, don't say nothing at all. But he's one of these loud mouths. He's one of these old 50, 60-year-old motherfuckers who still wants to be popular amongst the young people. You know? So he says stupid shit that he thinks is going to win them over. Any of you, young or old, who went to go see that crappy piece of shit Superman movie last summer, and you go off running to see Supergirl or this upcoming piece of shit Clayface movie, you deserve what you get. You're morons. You're idiots. You're absolutely what the powers that be call you. You're fucking cattle. Peace!